So the first thing I really want to talk to you guys about is which L1s you need to be focusing on this cycle. There we go. Bet. All right. So let me just pull up the Sol chart. Like the run up has been absolutely insane. You guys have been around for this, so I'm kind of preaching to the choir. But for those who haven't been in here since the bear market, it's been a little nuts. So what? We ran up. Oh, there's some buy and sells of mine, but that's just me swapping out stuff. I'm still long-term bullish on Sol. That's just me swapping the USDC for some other stuff. But we've been ran up from like, I need to increase the time frame on this bad boy. $20 all the way up here? It's been absolutely insane. That's what? Easy. 800x, probably a little less than that, but it's been like more like a 10 or 20x from the lows of $20 or whatnot. So after that insane run up, man, it's just like there's this crazy network wealth effect that's going on Solana, where we went from being the poor chain to like the boys that have actual bags. It's like if you've been around the bear market collecting participating in Sol, participating in the ecosystem, making trades on NFTs, even at the bottom, you're managed to, accumulate a good bit of Sol. So we went from being broke to not having anything to, man, we can actually do, trade and like be more risk on, especially in this market. So like one of the most reasons I'm bullish on Sol is because it's been, I'm preaching to the choir again. Yo, what's up, Charlie? But one of the reasons I'm most bullish on Sol is because it has been, battle tested with everything it's gone through FTX. God knows how many shutdowns we went through in the last bear market, and people were fudding off of that. Like, ETH never shut down, or ETH never such a huge hack. That's why there's ETH Classic, right? But who am I? What do I know? So like after all of that, for Sol to have a rebound is the way it did, continuing to see adoption, especially through platforms like Stripe. Man, I really think Sol is. I'm sorry to hear that, Papa. Don't worry, dog. We're still peak bull market. All right, we're still winding up and gearing up in this bull market. So I think there's plenty of time, man. So I still think there's no other chain out there that's been through what Sol has. And the narrative is really focused on Sol this cycle, in my opinion. I don't know how high it's going to go. I'm confident that we break all-time highs again. What's that around? What 240 was last time all-time high. So I think we'll definitely bust through that. But other than that, like as far as other L1 rotations, I don't think we're going to see them as much as we did last cycle. Last cycle we had that huge Luna rotation. We had Luna going into AVAX. And not saying, all these other L1s are good, not good, especially the newer ones like Sui and Aptos. Like I use them and they're pretty solid. Like I don't have any issue with them. But the issue that a lot of people are having is like these chains are still too VC backed. Like the tokenomics are terrible on them. Let me show you guys this one tweet. Like it is insane. I think like half of the supply on like 80% of the supply or something like that is like still locked up on Sui. Yeah, man, like right here, it's like, what, 8 billion Sui have been staked, and 84% of the stake supply is held by the founding team. Yo, ain't nobody gonna dabble in that. It's like, because people feel like they're gonna just get dumped on, and nobody really wants to get dumped on. So this is one of the huge reasons Sui, and same thing with Aptos, and I think those two have similar narratives around them of being VC invested chains. So in my opinion, the upside of investing in those chains right now is still a lot lower than the potential upside for Sol. Furthermore, Sui hasn't, and Aptos really haven't been battle tested like that. Like everything works well when it doesn't have a lot of users, but as soon as you pile users on there, it's a completely different ball game. I think this. I don't want to talk too much about BTC because I think it's kind of already self-explanatory. Like institutional adoption is finally happening for BTC. This thing's just going to continue to send, in my opinion. Like, of course, we had that little pullback, but, that's natural running up from, 30,000, like, breaking all-time highs again. Kathy Woods is out there saying Bitcoin price is going to hit 3.8 million. Look, I love the hopium. Don't get me wrong. I'm all on board for it. But at the same time, I don't think that's going to happen this cycle, to be honest. Like, it is what it is. But I'm all here. I do think, though, that we break 100K this cycle. A lot of people are calling for 150, 120. Just to try to front run people, I'd be a little bit cautious about that. And then So if anything, I'd probably try to run out of my positions around 110. And maybe depending on sentiment at the time, like if it's too frothy where everybody's too excited, I'll probably do it a little sooner. But who knows? I mean, everybody has a plan until the peak euphoria rolls around and the logic goes out the window. Crypto Charlie, yes, Aptos narrative at all after there was no Aptos narrative. Yeah, I agree with you, man. Like there was no narrative. There is no community. I don't see Aptos returning or any type of narrative forming there, especially this cycle. Not saying it can't do good in the future, but I just don't see any reason to DCA or pick up into Aptos or SWE right now. So in terms of alt ones, if you you don't have a lot of time to spend in this market and you just kind of want to chill, I suggest just buying Bitcoin or Sol. It's not fancy, but you'll get your multiples. And I do think sometimes people fall into a hole of over trading or trading what they're not good with. Ansem put out a poll not too long ago. It was talking about how many people have made money since like 2023, and like most people said that they didn't make money or made like a 2 or 3x. It's like, dog, you've been around for 2 years, like since 2023, you didn't make a bag. Like, I understand people have different life circumstances, but at the same time, it's like I think people are misallocating their portfolios and trying to go for higher multiples, which isn't wrong, but at sacrificing more stable return. So like if somebody would have just DCA'd Sol or BTC, they would have been fine and up in as of now. Papa, still airdrop opportunity for Aptos. True. Majority of token allocated for the community have been airdropped yet. I agree with you on that. There is an opportunity for airdrop, but I'm going to hit on this in the stream a bit later, is that even though there's the opportunity for airdrop, it comes at an opportunity cost of going for things that are more speculative, versus things that I have stronger conviction in that I think will pump sooner and quicker. So yes, I could go farm Aptos, but I could also just invest in one of the things I'm going to talk about today and probably still outperform that, because even as we've been seeing, like even with the SWE drops, I put out a thread regarding the SWE drops. Those didn't perform as good as I thought. And also, it's just like, because nobody's using SWE, so there's no demand for the token. So it's just like, I'm wasting. It's a massive opportunity cost going over there by just staying on Sol and messing around here. Better do Lena and Blast stuff. Yeah, good point, Charlie. It's I do think Lena's a great opportunity and Blast is also a great opportunity. I don't know much about ETH, let alone Blast, so I definitely recommend checking out Easy for that. He has plenty of info on it that he'll be able to give you for farming on that. As far as Lena goes, I got a node set up with Noder, great service, where they are running a node for me, and hopefully I get an airdrop for that. So I got exposure there as well. But long story short, in terms of narratives around L1s, Bitcoin and Solana are the only two I'm focusing on. I mean, I'm open to hear other arguments, other things, but once again, in my opinion, just focusing on these two chains will offer you a safer and higher return than trying to run around to chase something else. So the next thing I really want to talk about are RWAs, or real world assets. Also, you have a Tyco node too. Yeah, I do have Tyco nodes as well. I have like 5 Lena and 5 Tyco nodes. So yeah, hopefully I'm print. I tried to get the boys at Cyber Samurai hooked up, and I'll talk more about that later. But that deal didn't work out, unfortunately. So anyway, back to RWAs. RWAs are real world assets. Larry Fink came out not too long ago talking about how BlackRock was going to tokenize a ton of assets, and during that time, we saw a whole bunch of different assets run. I think RWAs are a continuation throughout this cycle. Now that we have institutional investment from Bitcoin, RWAs is a natural second step from that. So RWAs are not a matter of when, but if, in my opinion. And one of the two that I'm primarily looking at is Onda and chex. So let me share my screen out, and then I will talk about these. Yeah, so Onda, it's like an 8 billion market cap right now. Sorry, Ondo, not Onda. I was thinking about one of my buddy's companies. Ondo, it's sitting at a 8 billion market cap, so pretty high, but I think people are underestimating the how much a price can move with institutional inflows. So Onda is definitely one I keep my eye out on. CoinDesk came out with an article saying that Ondo has already moved with a partnership with them with BlackRock to onboard our tokenized assets. So just like and this is the thing about crypto that I think people are too like focused on tech sometimes. Like, oh, let's fire TPS is like, nobody cares, dog. Only thing that matters in the end of the day is narrative and what moves the price. Like tech, in my opinion, supports narrative. Tech doesn't set the narrative. After a certain time period, things kind of have diminishing returns. Like when we saw Bitcoin to go to ETH, it's like the improvement on those chains was massive. And then going from ETH to, that third wave of L3s that we saw during the last cycle, AVAX, Luna, Solana, Cosmos, all Polkadot, all these other ones, the tech improved from Ethereum. But going from like Solana to Aptos isn't much of an improvement. So if tech isn't an improvement, like what's going to set things apart? And it's narrative, in my opinion. So I don't really care how much better are the tech behind something. I care who's talking about it and what upcoming events are, potential narratives that can come out that can force a positive price action. So Onda is one RWA asset or token that I'm looking at. Another one is chex. Chex is hella low market cap. And I found out about chex listening to like Wrong User. He's a pretty big DeFi guy on Twitter. And Ansem, let me pull up Wrong User. If you're not following Wrong User, I highly suggest you do. He puts out really, really solid content that I definitely think you should check out. He was talking about Friend early, and I'll get into Friend a little bit later. But he put me onto chex and Trimbot as well. They were talking about, I'm like, what the heck is this? What the heck is this? So I got into chex around 18 cents. I rotated out to buy Costco hot dogs, which I will talk more about that later as well. But I do plan on rotating back in. Might be a risky decision, but it might work out well. So anyway, one of the reasons I'm bullish on chex is because they have already working with a company that they're going to tokenize their assets for what? The company's already talking to them to tokenize over $1 billion worth of assets. So that's already pretty bullish. On top of their tokenomics, which all the tokens are fully in circulation already. So we don't have to, it's already fully diluted. And we're only sitting at fully diluted. We're only sitting at a $250,000 market cap. That's absolutely nuts, especially when they already have a client that is already going to work with them to onboard over $1 billion worth of assets. Right now, the founder's Twitter account was hacked, which kind of slowed down their ability to get out information and put out announcements. But I've been hearing that they have a lot of things coming in later this month in June. So buying in at this price, like I don't see why it can't hit $1 easily. It hit 50 cents not too long ago. One of the reasons it hit 50 cents, around 50 cents, was because of Ansem tweeting about it. Look, man, like say what you want about Ansem. Like him, hate him, it doesn't matter. If he tweets about something, price is going to move. So if you're not following this dude on Twitter or being in some circles where, knowing what he's looking at, and he's pretty transparent on Twitter, it's going to pump. So just follow this dude. He also puts out good information. And in my opinion, his stuff his content's pretty funny. So definitely give him a follow if you haven't already. I don't know who in the mama's not following him at this point. But KOLs are a key thing to make most things move in this market. And if KOLs aren't talking about it, it goes back to the argument of narrative and tech. Even if something else is better than out there than chex, it doesn't matter because KOLs aren't talking about those. They're only talking about chex. So buy what everybody has, what has the most mind share, and will have influencers talk about them, specific influencers. Now, I'm not going to go down to tiers of influencers. That's a whole different stream in and of itself. So yeah, definitely, I do plan on picking up a bag of chex again, and definitely if you want to do lower risk carb, Ondo is another good one. But yeah, so the next narrative that I want to talk about is socialfi. this is starting to become an emerging narrative, like Block Grays. For those who don't know Block Grays, he is the guy who brought $1,000 worth of WIF and rolled it up to several million. Congrats to the dude, because that is intense. Like, I don't think I could do that. Just being honest with you, like, everybody's like, oh, hindsight trading. I think that's the dumbest thing you can do. Like, oh, I sold $100 worth of WIF here. It's like I would have been a millionaire right now. No, you wouldn't, dog, because you would have never held all the way up to 6 figures, like 7 figures like that. So there's no point in hindsight trading like that. But anyway, can't find the tweet right now, but he did come out with one that was saying, who's out there building socialfi? I think Ansem was asking about socialfi. So there is a socialfi, narrative emerging, in my opinion. And one of the foremost leaders is Friendtech. If you weren't around, I don't know how long ago, maybe it was like 6 months ago or so when Friendtech first came out, like, it was pretty crazy, man. Like, keys were selling for a ridiculous amount. Like, people made bags off of Friendtech. And it kind of died, and then people kind of focused on the farming aspect of Friendtech and for the token, and they just dropped their token. Like, pre-market, token was trading around $20. Let me see if I can pull up the Friendtech chart. Let me see, friend. Yeah, like pre-market, I'm pretty sure it was trading around like $20, and then massive sell-off happened, which isn't surprising because that happens 90% of the time with any new token that comes out. Yeah, like we had Wix all the way up here, but I know here, yeah, it's around like $8 something. Regardless, still pretty high for like this chart. It just plummeted, and we got low as 114. One of the big reasons that it happened is because a well-known person on Friendtech, he was dumping. Haska was like, I think top 2 in terms of like Friendtech keys or whatnot. Dude was just selling them off massively. Like, he pretty much sold the bottom of it. So like, anytime there's massive FUD, people was fudding it because the protocol dropped this token unannounced. Like, people were having issues claiming it, and people were just automatically selling it. But the thing about this token is that the FDV on it is like, it's crazy. It's fully diluted. All the tokens out. It's the market cap is only 231 million. Like, I don't know why it can't hit a billion, especially if the narrative catches on. It pumped pretty well too from the bottom. Like, within a couple days, it launched on the 3rd and up to 6. Today's the 6th, almost 2x. So. And Ansem, as I said, Ansem dropped a tweet about this. It's like, oh, well, like, he was buying these things. So that's another clear indicator. It's like, yo, if he's bidding, it's like, why shouldn't you be bidding as well? Again, it's like, I typically do this. Like, we saw it with Jupe, and we saw it with other airdrops. Massive sell-off happens. People, it's better just to go in and bid the bottom. Just because it's usually low risk at that point. Hold on, where's the Jupe's chart? Jupe perp, is this one? Nope. Anyway, regardless, Jupe was another one. Any airdrop that usually happens with. So it goes back to the whole point of, like, does this thing have influencer support? And I think it does. Even if other socialfi platforms come out, and I'm not gonna lie to you, Friendtech is not the best platform out there. Like, it is not user friendly in my opinion, and I think a lot could be done with it, especially in terms of improvement on it. But for right now, it's like, I don't care. I'm just bidding the token, hold that for a bit, see what happens with it. People are saying it can hit $10. I don't plan on holding it to $10. I plan on holding it to around 5, maybe 7, depending on it. And I might cut early, depending on the inflows or whatnot of it. So I do think Friendtech is a good opportunity. Oh, yes. Let me show you guys how to buy Friendtech, because you cannot buy it on regular exchanges. You have to buy that from their app. So I'll put these links in the description. So all you do is go to base. You have to bridge from ETH to base. And it's pretty simple. Right now, gas is pretty cheap. So you bridge. Once you do that, it takes like 5 minutes, if that. And then you have to go to your Friendtech wallet. Here's my Friendtech wallet. Boom. So then you can just send ETH from your base wallet to your Friendtech wallet. You just click receive on base, and it'll automatically copy this. And then you just send it from your ETH wallet, and then you can just quickly buy X amount of Friend. So it's pretty simple, even though it's a pain to get to. And also bridging off base takes 5 to 7 days. Just keep that in mind. So that's another thing that sucks. But yeah, I do think Friendtech still has some more room to run. As I said, 2xing from this market cap, I don't think is difficult. So I do think we can hit around $5 plus. And if people want to pump it hard enough, we can probably even go to 10. There was one more. What did else? Oh, yes. As far as things within the Friendtech ecosystem, such as buying keys or joining clubs, I am not doing any of that. I brought keys back in the day, and I got wrecked doing that. I just think the safest play is to hold the token right now. And I don't have a problem with that. As far as joining clubs, there's no, other than like being close to like certain influencers. Yeah, I bridge from base all the time. Oh, never mind. Maybe it changed, or maybe I just got the information wrong. Thanks, Papa. Papa was saying that it does, bridging off base doesn't take 5 to 7 days. I bridge from base all the time to other L2s. Okay. Bet then I'll talk to you after stream to try to see what other ones you can do. Because if I can avoid, that 5 to 7 day, or what I thought was a 5 to 7 day bridge off time, it would be great. But the next thing I want to talk about, which kind of ties in earlier to the whole farming thing, ties into farming. It's like farming airdrops versus just trading tokens. Right now, there does not seem to be a farming narrative. Farming narrative happened at Jito kind of kicked it off after Soul pumped. Let's just pull up that Jito chart because that stuff's nasty. Jito was the first one. I had another live stream back. What was it like 2 weeks before Jito dropped, and I talked about how to stake Soul and everything like that. And individuals who did that made a bag. My airdrop was 15K ish from like 2 weeks, so it was pretty insane. What happened to the heist, Doug? That question's good as mine, man. it ain't doing well. It ain't doing well. But back to Jito. I can increase time frame. Here we go. Yeah, like it plummeted like post airdrop. Like we always see that sell off, and then I think it pumped like post 3. Maybe that's too long of a time frame. It was like here where it pumped to like $3-4. It was nuts, man. But the fact that Jito, one of the reasons that I think Jito pumped so hard was because nobody was expecting it. Nobody was expecting Pith. People were like expecting Jupe, but at that time the snapshot was taken, so you couldn't do that. So what happened is we saw things going from protocols being underfarmed to being completely overfarmed. So the last few protocols that did airdrops, they were not that well. Camino is a good example. Drift, I don't think is trading that high. Tensor did okay, but people were still disappointed with that. So I think the airdrop / farming meta is kind of dead, and I don't think it will come back until the next bear market. I could be wrong, but I really wouldn't risk it in my opinion. If you really want to have exposure to farming, I would either buy Pith, Jupe, or Mad Lads, or something that gives you the ability to receive airdrops while holding a different asset instead of farming the protocol directly. Mad Lads pretty much received all these airdrops for just having a Mad Lad, and they received a sizable portion. I personally ain't buying any NFTs right now, so I'm good there. As far as Pith goes, Pith is being integrated into a lot of things. I think it's more useful than Chainlink. So if you're bullish long-term on Pith, value a bag of Pith and stake that. Jupe, I would not personally buy Jupe, even though it does get airdrops through, them launching through their protocol or whatnot. However, with Jupe, that's a 30-day lock period, man. I am not trying to have X amount of dollars locked up for 30 days because then it's always about opportunity cost. It's like, yo, are you going to... let me get rid of this. It's always about opportunity cost, man. It's like, do you think the return of locking Jupe for 30 days plus airdrops is going to outweigh exponential price increase? I don't think so. What's the current price of Jupe? Well, if it hits the levels, what is it, 110? Let's go to, what is that? Market cap of, compared to Uniswap. Let's just say things go absolutely ballistic. Let me bring this screen back up. Window. Yeah, let's say everything's just go absolutely ballistic and Jupe catches up to Uniswap. That's a 3x. Back to Uniswap all-time highs, 15x. I believe that, I'm pretty confident Jupe can do between a 3 and 10x. But as that price movement's happening, I don't know if that price movement is still going to be there 30 days later. I also don't know if how the quality of airdrops, if they're going to be worth it staking up until that point. And it's not, in my opinion. So, however, I would differ with Pith in this sense, is that Pith, there's been rumors about Pith potentially receiving a Monad airdrop. And if that's true, that's pretty bullish because I hear Monad's going to cook. Haven't used the chain, really haven't heard much about it. But the fact that people are bullish on it, especially KOLs, I think is a good reason. Also, the lockup period for Pith, I think, is like a week or two. Or sorry, unlock period is like a week or two. So it's not too long, but it does suck. I hate lockup periods. All right. So in my opinion, again, don't think farming's worth it right now. And I think your capital is better allocated elsewhere. But if you really want to farm, pick up something that can do passive farming without utilizing the protocol. So one thing that has been absolutely pervasive throughout this entire cycle is memes. Jesus Christ. When Sol started to run, we saw bonk running, and then Whiff caught up not too far behind that. And from the last cycle, or even during the bear market, it's like, memes come and go. It's like, okay, sorry guys. Memes come and go. I'm like, all right, this thing is going to pump for a little bit, and that's going to be the end of it. Nah, dude. Memes seem to be in a super cycle, and it will be staying around for a while. Sanctum, sub Charlie. I haven't looked into Sanctum much, and this could be due to ignorance of me. I had seed round opportunities to invest in them, but I didn't, just because TG was in the bear market for me. I know a lot of people are bullish on it, so if you want to farm it, go ahead. Not saying it's bad, but I'm just giving things from my perspective right now. Over farm though, yeah, that is exactly. I'm gonna put this comment up from Papa again. Yeah, it's like Sanctum is good, no lockup. Over farm though, yeah. Everybody in a mama I know is farming Sanctum, so it goes back to the same thing again, like I was just talking about. It's like, why farm Sanctum when I can just either buy one of these meme coins that I'm about to discuss? So why do I think memes are in a super cycle, specifically on Solana? Solana has again the mind share of the focus within crypto on it right now, and I think that's going to continue. Also, the wealth network effect that we had from going from $20 to $200 has gave people a surplus in capital to become even more risky to try to acquire more Solana. So within the meme category, it's like, dude, there's just so much going on at one time within memes. I am not the best meme trader. I am good at recognizing what has mind share and jumping on that and riding it for a couple multiples and then getting out. I'm long-term I'm not bullish on most memes. And I'm going to share with you a couple people who are probably the best meme traders I know. And I usually just ate what they do, and it seems to work out. And I think that's another good skill to have, is follow the right people and you'll be successful. A lot of people who have the most followers are not the best people to follow in terms of alpha. And I think that's where a lot of people get screwed over, because they tweet out something, price sends, people buy the top, it falls. So category of memes. Dude, there are tiers to memes. Like, not every meme coin is created equal. So one of the main categories that everybody loves is the doge category of memes. You got your Whiff, you got Doge, Whiff, Shib, and kind of Bonk. Bonk fits in with the Doge category. Oh, sorry. Bonk fits in with the doge category of memes, but I don't even consider Bonk a meme anymore. It's more like a community coin. I'll get back to you on that. I'll get back with that later. But you also have your cats, which we just saw the cat meta with the Popcat, Mew, Michi just ran pretty hard. Popcat's been running pretty hard too. Oh, now there's a pullback. So again, it's like this whole narrative cycle. After with memes, it fully relies on social sentiment. When these things run, what is this, April 20? Yeah, from April 20th up to now, that's a freaking crazy run. 400%. That's absolutely crazy. Even if you would have jumped in anywhere on here, mine is here, they have a lot of pullback, but it still ran. But regardless, it's like when people are focused on one thing, it's like that thing pumps. So like just because Popcat's pumping doesn't mean WIF's going to pump. So what I think the important thing is to identify which focus the narrative is on and try to find other thing that fits within that narrative. We just had the country narrative. USA freaking sent. Yeah. What, April 5th? Jesus Christ, this chart's in just ridiculous. What is that? 10,000%, so like a clean 100x? Yeah, easy clap. So when you identify the market leader in this, you usually see a flood of other coins that come out to copy it. So like USA started to pump, guess what? China came out, Australia came out, and then so on and so forth. You got your political memes. We had Bowden, we had Trump, we had Jay Powell or Powell. Yep, lost money on that one, but it be that way. We have, for lack of a better categorization of it, I want to call your like popular Asian-based memes where like it seems like a lot of people in the Asian community loves these type of memes, like Muay Thai, it's like a certain drink, cigs, ham water. Those were doing good as well. And even your food memes, like costs. So I think trying to identify where the attention's focused at and shifting there is one of the best ways to ride the market. Like, I know people were saying, oh, you know, memes in Solana cost Tucker gummy. Dude, I have no idea. I'm bullish on cost. Let me tell you about cost. Cost is probably one of my best trades. I think I can just pull it up here for you guys. Cost. Is it working? Let me refresh. Cost was one of my best trades. I managed to get in pretty low. Yeah, down here, sold up here. Yeah, that thing ran parabolic, man. It was pretty nuts. I got out here. I think I bought some more down here and then rode it up again. And I'm back in the trade now. I purchased some like around here near the top. Had to suffer through this massive dump. Oh, dude, I wanted to throw up, man. And then it pumped again. I'm like, thank God, my bags. And then it failed again. I'm like, oh, my bags are ruined, man. I lost a pretty significant grip, but I'm still holding. So didn't lose anything yet. Just because I saw momentum return and I was trying to ride that wave again. But individuals are like, oh, you know, you should just stay on one thing and the pump will come to you. Well, yes, I do agree with that. But at the same time, man, it's like, why just sit there and yo, what's up, DS? Thanks for coming, dude. It's like, yeah, I agree with that. And it's great to find expertise in one field, but I ain't going to just sit there and not make a bag when I see a clear opportunity to make a bag. That's ridiculous. So like, sometimes it's like I rotate and get wrecked, and sometimes I rotate and it pays off. And I think I'm trying to get better at this cycle, because last cycle I was a lot newer, and I didn't rotate at all. I was freaking floundering around. I'm probably one of the few people that managed to lose money in NFTs at the beginning, even though everything was pumping. So it's like I'm just trying to improve on my skills from last cycle, and it's kind of working. As far as going back to Rebroker, Tucker and Gummy, I have no idea what they are. Not saying they can't run. Yo, Camille, what's up, dog? Not saying they can't run, but I haven't heard of them. Even from the people that I really, really trust, that talk about memes on a regular basis, they haven't mentioned them. So I wish you the best, dog. Memes are not my edge. I'm going to be straight clear with you that this is more so narrative to help you guys navigate the market, and kind of categorize things so things are a lot easier to digest and where you can find the edge. Not saying to be an expert at meme, but I do understand how these things work. And one of the key things that I wanted to point out is, when is a narrative of a meme ready to die? I think this tweet encapsulates it. Let me bring it over here. Right here, we see American coin, UAE coin, Portugal coin. Like, when you start to see derivatives of derivatives, like, yo, it's about time to exit, man. It's like, again, nothing's wrong with missing out on the USA pump, but you want to make sure you're on that second or third wave, or else it ain't gonna happen. Like, just going down here, you're playing in the mud at this point. You can make a bag, but the risk is too high, in my opinion. DS was saying that Gummies has a solid community by Crypto Banter. Hey, go ahead. If it's a solid community, I'm all for it, man. I just don't know any bad thing about it, so I didn't want to speak on anything that I wasn't, confident in. Oh, my screen. 1 second, guys. What the heck? Yo, this monitor be wilding sometimes. Anyway, as for the people that I think you should follow, first and foremost, Seameister. Where's he at? Oh, there he is. Seameister. This guy, 1,000 followers, completely underrated. This dude is like the meme coin whisperer. By Stanley Cup community, dude rode Stanley. I don't know how much dude is up on Stanley Cup right now. Like insane amounts. He was one of the few people who had enough conviction in it to ride it all the way down to, what is it? That's the first pump. He like rode it down here. Nope. There we go. This was back here. He accumulated throughout here. He was just buying Stanley Cup. Dude's up massively, like insanely massively. He was early on Stanley Cup. He was worried on Costco. I brought Costco. You love to see it. The bun stays on, rebroker. I definitely sold one. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like again, whenever I see some narrative dying, I'm out of there, dude. Like the way I time it, it's like everything pumps, and like just because it pumped here, everybody thinks the top's in. But it really depends. You have to be glued in on Twitter to know if the actual top is in. One thing I take note of is when everybody's posting their portfolios. And I've been a criminal of this, and I got burned by it, and that's why I learned my lesson. When everybody's posting their portfolios or comparing their meme coin to BTC, yo, that's time to sell, man. And usually around here, these peak top prices, people are talking about, oh man, it's a new paradigm. This thing's going to do another 100x from this point. It's kind of hard to describe, but you just get a good feel for it. And we go back to the cost chart. I'll show you guys. It's probably one of the few times that I managed to do a good sale at the top. Of course, I caught falling knives here, and that's fine. But I sold pretty close to the top, not exact top, but it's all good. Still came out with a bag. But yeah, man, it's important to have conviction in things, but don't become a community member as well, dog. Ain't nothing worse than riding money down. It's better to take profits, especially on high multiples, and have a bag instead of becoming a community member. But don't worry, dog. I'm right there with you on this current cost trade. For transparency, like I said, I brought in around this 4 to 8-ish range. So we're a little under where I purchased, like right here. But I do think costs can run up to an all-time high again. My boy Joe, for those who don't know, I did a show with him called Rare FUD. Probably one of the best charters in the space I know. So I really think he was saying that he thinks this can run up to all-time highs again and break it. I'm pretty confident on it. It feels like the narrative's there. Meme season's back around. One thing that separates Costco hot dog away from everything else is that it is a food category, and it's kind of dominating that. Also, it has a clear price target. One of the things I recognize with memes is you need KOL influence, support, and clear price targets. Like we saw early on with Feel the Wick. Yes, it's a joke, but it gives people something to work towards. Same thing that happened with Doge. Like Doge to $1, Doge to $1, Doge to $1. It did not hit $1, but it came pretty close. Same thing is there with Costco. $1.50, $1.50, $1.50. While it seems like a joke and unrealistic, it always is until it isn't. So do I think it's going to hit $1.50? Nope, not at all. However, I do think it's going to break all-time high soon. And if it doesn't, or my conviction, or I see sentiment die down on Twitter, I'm going to cut bags there and rotate, even if it's at a loss. But hopefully that doesn't happen. Last thing I wanted to talk about is community coins, specifically bonk and win. Bonk started out as a meme coin, but it transitioned into community coin being integrated into like DeFi and things like that. In my opinion, in my opinion, I don't know if that's whether it's good or bad. It's great for these coins to have utility. Bonk has a huge, massive burn rate. But I do think trying to put bonk as a meme doesn't do it well anymore. I do think that because it being a community coin, It's going to run when dogs run. It's going to pump because Doge just has insane runs out of nowhere. So I'm not bearish on Doge, but I wouldn't call sorry, not Doge, sorry, bonk. I wouldn't call bonk a meme, but I wouldn't be bearish on it either. Same thing with Win. It didn't run as hard during the cat meta, but that doesn't mean next time the cat meta comes around, it won't run again. So community coins are something to look out for, especially if some big protocol or somebody talks about adopting them. We'll see it run again, or whenever Doge decides to pump or whiff pump. I'm pretty sure Bonk will pump. Bonk's going to break all-time highs. In my opinion, it's a matter of when, not if. So yeah, I do think it's lower on the risk curve. So a safer play is to just buy into Bonk and or whiff and just hold that. Wouldn't say Doge fits the same bill as Bonk. Yeah, they're completely different categories. You're right about that, Papa. Oh yes, back to meme coin whisperers. Because I don't want to forget to share that with you guys before I move on. So we talked about Seameister. Alfie is another solid dude. Doesn't have a ton of followers, only like 3,000. Dude's like top tier on memes as well. Make sure you give him a follow. And last but not least, my boy Swizzle. Only like 266 followers, but he is also top tier when it comes to meme coins. Whenever he posts something, trust him. Like he knows what he's doing. I trust them. That doesn't mean you should, but I hope you guys trust me. Thus, you should trust them. So definitely give these guys a follow. Now, in the realm of meme coins, the next meme coins I want to talk about are runes. So I want to say that the runes were a bit anticlimactic in two ways, in the sense of everybody were hyping them up to the halving, but because it was like a non-event, because things didn't automatically send. But as we saw in the past, things move a bit slower on Bitcoin just because of the nature of the chain. It's a bit slower. Again, memes are going to be a prevalent throughout this cycle. And BTC is going to be one of the main chains that's going. I mean, BTC always has to focus, but I think it will continue to dominate with continued institutional inflow. And runes are going to be a massive part of that. While right now there is not a lot of activity, I wouldn't discount it, because out of nowhere, the same thing we saw with Ordinals, it just takes off and people are making bags. So I do think people are underestimating the potential for it. I do think that as runes get more user, I guess a better UI to use, we'll see more adoption for it. If you want to trade runes, I'm going to say to use Magic Eden. You can go to Unisat, but I do think Magic Eden has a better layout overall. It's easier to trade. It's easier to split. Magic Eden has done an amazing job with runes, being able to trade runes and ordinals. I always had my gripes about Magic Eden in the past. There's some clips out there of me mentioning some things, and I still stand by those. But at the same time, even when I made those comments, I was very appreciative of them of doing what they did with runes and ordinals. I don't think, trading before Magic Eden got into ordinals, dude, it was a nightmare, man. Like it was like the wild west. It was nuts. You had to like do OTC for everything, and that is not it, man. That is not it. So which runes am I looking at buying right now? Honestly, if anything, I would have to go with a lot of the pre-runes. So there's your runes, things that were minted after the halving, and your pre-runes, which are ordinals that promise you X amount of runes when they drop. So your things like, where's pups at? It's down in the top. No, things are like your pups. These things are like worth 210 or something pups or whatnot in your ordinal whenever they burn runes for, burn ordinals for runes. RSSIC is the same thing. Rune stones is another one. Prometheus is another one. So buying things that exist already, I think, is a safer bet instead of trying to find newer stuff. There is so much crap out there on ordinals, runes right now, that it's insane. Like, it's absolutely nuts. If you did buy any runes right now, I highly suggest just buying something in the top 10. And you can tell, by top 10, I mean top 10 minted runes. Like you can tell which ones they are. It's like rune number 3, rune number 1. Everything's ordered. So anything in the top 10, you're probably safe on those. Lobo the Wolf Pup. That's a terrible name. I take that back. Don't just buy everything in the top name. Lobo the Wolf Pup is not memeable. It deserves to be down 33%. I'm just joking around, guys. I don't know anything about this project, but if I had to pick Lobo the Wolf Pup over something like whatever this is, that has rumored connections to ZK, I'd probably buy that. Satoshi Nakamoto, I'd probably buy that over. But if anything, I would rather buy pups over most of the things out there. Why pups? Well, that leads perfectly into ordinals. So pups is connected directly to Bitcoin puppets. Bitcoin puppets is the premier meme collection on Solana. I'm sorry, on ordinals. So again, it goes back to the whole us being in a meme super cycle. If anything's going to pump first, it's going to be the memes. So just buying these things, I find them cool. They look better as the higher the price goes. So I would definitely recommend. If you can pick up a pup, pick it up. I think that puppet, you can definitely pick one up. If not, get the puppet, the room pups. My boy Joe, also give him a fucking follow because he's been tweeting about pups for a while now, and pretty much everything he says usually plays out. What he was talking about he was talking about even lower. I think he brought some a little lower than like 30-ish right now, and it's already pumped. He brought some in the like 20s, low 20s. So he's already up, and he thinks he's going to continue to send. I ain't going to fade him. So if you want Bitcoin rune exposure, just buy pups. You can buy pups on Solana, and the pups on Solana can burn for the rune counterparts whenever it comes out. Holy crap. Where's the chart? There we go. Boom. I still think it's a pretty good price. All-time high was up around 110. We had wicks up to 150. So I do think we break all-time highs again. So yeah, just to get exposure to runes, buy pups. Also regarding ordinals, I do think the rune meta, it will come back around, and buying any top project will automatically get you access to that. So if you don't want to dabble in runes directly, I would buy a Bitcoin puppet, a node monkey, a quantum cat, or an OMB if you can afford it. It might be a pretty penny, but there's a lot of filth out there in ordinals, and a lot of the liquidity tends to go back to the top collections. These top collections typically get airdrop runes and all type of other, any type of new invention on BTC. These communities usually get airdropped. So not only will their value, do they get value from floor price going up, but they also get value from just the amount of runes and airdrops they get. So highly recommend, if you don't want to dabble into trying to identify which rune to pick up, just pick up one of these bad boys. Yes, they are a pretty penny, but I think it's a pretty safe penny. So yeah, I sold off. I brought into puppets. I sold out of my puppets, which leads to man. I'm getting better at these segues, yo. I brought 2 puppets. I brought one puppet around 0.16, and another one around 0.2-ish. And I sold them both around 0.4, and I rotated that into this bad boy, the 6ix9ine. So for those, so I have, it might not be a super widely popular thesis on one of ones. Boogle, like typically whenever we see the price of Sol increase, we see the price of NFTs decrease, like significantly. However, Boogle on the run up, they just kept selling for more and more and more. These things increase with the price of Sol. I think the all-time high recently Boogle saw was around 300K or like 288K or something ridiculous. So not only did those prices keep increasing, but if we go to, what is it, Exchange Art? If we go to Exchange Art, other top collections, such as Burrows. Let me see. You gotta love Exchange Art. It moves a bit slow. Let me go from Twitter there. Burrows. Top O. Here we go. Burrows. Exchange art. Nope. There we go. Sorry, guys. Took a little bit to get there, but we did. We go to activity, sales. Okay, nope. Here we go. We're talking about the main collection here. Had a recent sale for $40,000 and only couldn't increase from there. 35,000 was the second one after that. 29,000, 33, 33, 15. So like, and this was 5 months ago, and we just see that slowly increase throughout, even as the price of SOL was rising. Another one is gummies. I do have a gummies as well. I was looking at gummies because I found this from Gumshoe. He's a top tier dude. This is Gumshoe's PFP. Here he is on Twitter. He always puts out solid market takes. Highly recommend giving him a follow as well. Super nice dude. But he has a background in seed investments or like helping out VC firms or whatever. So one of my goals is I wanted to have access to more seed investments. And I'm like, man, it's like these guys are doing it. So I was like, okay, I'm like, let me try to find an entry on these things. But I saw these things run up from sales from I think like 6,000 to, this is when I started paying attention to them, like around here. This was my first one this was the first one I saw. I was like, okay, 9,000. I was like, all right, there's going to be a pullback. 14,000. Okay, because, a pullback's coming in. It's going to be here soon, right? And then it's like, no, just constantly increasing. And recently, I think we set a 28K for one of the most recent ones. So even with the 6ix9ine or whatnot, and this is the last one I'll show you guys to drive my point home, because I feel like I might be beating a dead horse here. But just to really show my example and why my thesis is there, and I'll provide a counter to that here in a second. Exchange art. Activity, sales. All right. Yeah, these things have been absolutely sending. Yeah, as you can see, just constant setting new all-time highs. So I think that this cycle we're going to see a sell for Boogle over a milli, if not pretty dang close. And if that does happen, all these other one of ones are going to absolutely send as well. Specifically the ones in the top, such as your Burrows, Gummies, 6ix9ine. So I really want to have exposure to that. Now there's a good argument there. It's like, oh, you're risking having a huge opportunity cost loss. Like the cost of buying these, if it does not appreciate with SOL value, you were better off holding SOL. And while I agree, I still disagree in the sense of, well, it's really all that depending on what you want to do. What holding SOL doesn't offer you is access to a network of people, other opportunities. I'm personally looking to continue to grow in this space and, develop. And I love going to in-person events, and having these NFTs gives you access to that. I was able to go to Nobu thanks to Gumshoe. And I'm about to get into 6ix9ine real quick, and while I'm super bullish on that, and like decided to pick that bad boy out. It was not an easy, it was easy and like it was rough at the same time. But why I picked that bad boy up is just like, I still think these things are going to continue to cook. So like later on in the cycle, people start feeling themselves after they have a ton of money. We saw it in the last cycle. So I believe that one of one's all-time high sales are continuing, like 6-7-digit sales are going to happen later on in the cycle, where people have stupid amounts of money just to sling around. So I do think, just in between that time, these will continue to appreciate, probably not with the value of SOL, but the opportunities that in the network and friends that I make from that, I think will far surpass, me just holding SOL. And honestly, it's like, I like meeting people. I like talking to people. So I don't have an issue with it. It's whatever. So the reason I got into the 6ix9ine is because Mamba initially reached out to me. I knew that he's been working on the 6ix9ine for a while. I put out a tweet a while ago explaining this thesis, and he reached out to me to bring me on as one of his members to his intelligence team. And I was like, oh man, that's really sick. Like, that somebody would recognize. I mean, obviously he has a Boogle too, so it's really sick that he would recognize my work and the effort that I put in. He wanted me to help contribute to his project with my research, so that was awesome. So I got him brought in the 6ix9ine, and then like right before NFT NYC. And then during that time, I got to go to the event, meet up with him. I think we have pictures here from the event. It was pretty awesome. I don't have a picture of me at the event, which is all good. It's kind of like cryptic. It's like you don't really know who's in it. It was super great venue, super good time. Got to meet Mamba, meet some of the other team members, and talk to them. Mamba actually came to the Cyber Samurai event, and that was the first time I met him. And we also just vibed on Twitter, just because he's huge into anime, and so am I. And he just turns out to be a really good dude. And like he was explaining to me some of the things that he was trying to build with the 6ix9ine. Also, after being in there as an intelligence team member, I'm like, man, this is a really great community. I want to contribute to this in a greater capacity. So I was like, yo, I got to pick me up a high ninja. And when I purchased it, dude, it was crazy. First of all, I know this, it's like just buying something that expensive in NFT is like I've never done it before, so I was shaking a bit. But I don't. Again, it's like I'm not really looking at it for a trade. It's more like support, and I think I'm probably like opposite of trading styles. Like I've personally always been the type of individual who wants to support people and see them succeed, and that's usually when my best trades happen. One of the other opportunities are things that I can tie that into a Cyber Samurai. So yeah, 6ix9ine, super bullish on 6ix9ine, super bullish on one of ones. So if you can get in one of these communities, please do. I think it'll pay off, especially for growth in the space. But if that's not your goal and you just want to trade, probably better not to touch one of ones. But this kind of segues into the NFT portion of this, like community-based NFTs, Tensor. So as we all know, like NFTs have been in the mud, man. Like it has just been like awful out there. Like I think DeGods might have been the most recent good trade. Let's pull up the DeGod chart whenever they bridge back or whatever. Yeah, I think this might have been. What's the time frame? Oh, 5 minutes. I need a bigger time frame than that. Yeah, and it's in USD as well. Damn this chart. Yeah, nope. Anyway, I know they came out of a dip. I know they recently pumped, bridging back over for me. Sorry, I don't have a good view of the chart, but I don't want to just slow down the stream. There's not a lot of good opportunity out there for good trades in my collection, in my opinion, right now with large cap or just 10K collections. So I do think it's important to find either a trading community that you want to contribute to for growth in the space, or something that you think can outpace the market of trading memes or whatnot. Because last cycle NFTs were this new shiny thing, but this cycle, after people have been trading memes for over 2 years, even throughout the bear, it's like, why trade NFTs when you can just trade meme coins? And I kind of agree with that sentiment. But if you are looking to go to IRL events and you're looking to grow or looking to try to gain an edge or find a community to be involved with, definitely pick something up like an SMB. NFTs feel like the bottom of the soul in 23. Yeah, it's pretty rough out there. I do think they'll see a comeback though. So it's not all doom and gloom. So SMB is another good one if you're going to in-person events. The one I always talk about the dojo or Cyber Samurai whenever I get a chance, because dude, not only am I the COO of it, but I've been in it since like 2021, right after mint. We've had multiple cycles of like being down bad in floor price. But for me, agree with you, there will be times, but when people shift from memes to NFTs, yes, I do think that shift will happen, but it will be later on in the cycle. I do like talk about Cyber Samurai anytime I get a chance, because like I was involved in crypto before Cyber Samurai, but being involved with the community there has really increased my trading skills to a point that I don't think I would have attained otherwise. I still spend most of my time there to this day. The floor price is down bad, but this isn't the first time it's been down bad. It's difficult in NFTs because a lot of people only buy NFTs pretty much basing for the founder to make floor price go up. As we saw with DeGods, it's literally impossible to make floor price go up forever. You can't just keep teasing things like, oh, this is going to change the paradigm of NFTs and it's going to fucking send. It's being disingenuous, and people are kind of tired of that. So even though the floor price is down bad, I do think it's accessible price point for individuals who want to be involved in the community, want to get an edge on trading. Like I don't think there's any better community out there. There's a lot of community, but I'm obviously biased towards Cyber Samurai. One of the key benefits in there is that there's a ton of intelligent people, like super, super smart. Joe's in there, or was in there, not so much anymore. But Bison's in there from time to time. Shake is probably one of the best traders I know in this space. So also, let me shield him out too. If you're not following him, please give Shake a follow. Yeah, he's a Boogle as well. So he's in there. He posts charts. I can show you guys the chat just so you guys can get a better sense of the community. We have a charts channel. Anytime Shake posts a chart in there, I'm not the best technical trader. So anytime he posts a chart, I usually just ape on leverage, as you can see there. I think anytime I do that, it's just like, oh, thesis remains the same. Shake's post a chart, I ape. Hasn't gone wrong yet. Stay eating. Like, but it's the truth. Shake who? Yeah, I know, right? DS is like, nobody knows of this guy. So he'll post like random charts at, like here. This was a while ago. Just buy in. I just think it's free money. Obviously, you have to do it at your own risk. Shake isn't like, oh yeah, I'm 100% correct. I just do that of my own violation, and it works out. So one of the benefits is, just being able to have access to his charts. But I do think one of the most other valuable things is this daily newsletter called the Ponzi Times. This thing is insane. Like, it just gives you an overall view of the market, like an update, like news, things that you should look out for, different alpha out there based on different threads, who's tweeting about what. I think this Corby, he does an amazing job about just giving an overall overview about what's happening and what's out there. I really love it. And we also have access to an early stage trading bot. It's like called PP bot. Where is it at? Yo, this thing be blowing up chats, but now that I need to find it, it's like it's nowhere around. Here you go. So like you can like ape prices of, or you can ape. So if somebody posts a ticker that you like, you can just ape the coin or whatever. You can also get a view how much somebody has been up. So it's like it's one of those socialfi trading things that I think is super unique. You have early access to, like, this is, I think, is going to launch a token. So using it now and gives you access to early air farming, and not a lot of communities have access to it. So I think it's a great opportunity there. But overall, the community is great. We still do things at in-person events. Let me, Twitter, go back to me. We had this meetup, I told you, at NFT NYC. That was pretty fun. Here we go. Yeah, this is just us or whatever. So like low entry for a solid community that's been around for 2 years. I don't think it's a bad idea. We have a couple things coming up in terms of, I don't even want to spoil it, but we have that coming. Wilder is still out there. We would still plan on dropping that. So yeah, if you're looking for a community, I think Cyber Samurai is low entry, great community to be a part of. So guys, that kind of wraps it up, honestly. I know this was a little long, but there was a lot to cover. I tried to be as concise as possible. I really appreciate all of you taking the time to be here today. Hopefully you picked up something or learned something from this stream. If you did, that's great. I don't expect to be like some massive YouTuber. It's fine with me as long as one person gains value from these streams. I'm happy from it. So we went over all the different narratives that I think are categorized, all the different narratives that I think are out there, like the primary L ones that I'm focusing on: Bitcoin, Sol, RWA, specifically Ondo and chex, socialfi, specifically Friendtech, memes, just breaking those down in different categories. Told you, no, you're the man, homie. I appreciate you taking time out to be here. Again, you guys could be doing a million other things, and the fact that anybody wants to dedicate their time to watch me ramble about NFTs for an hour is pretty huge in my book. So thank you. But yeah, man, that's all the narratives out there in terms of quick, low risk, medium risk, high risk type of things. Low risk, just buy Solana and Bitcoin. Medium risk, go ahead and dabble in some of the RWAs that I talked to. I think you'll be fine. Nothing wrong with there. I do think I would consider one of one's medium risk as well, really depending on if you don't care too much about the SOL price. I know for some of you are probably like, that's COPE, and sure, whatever. It's COPE. I'm fine with that. So if you don't care too much about SOL price and want to grow in the space, I think that's a great way to go. High risk, go ahead and ape memes, dude. So yeah, guys, that's about wraps it up. If any of you guys have any questions, let me know. follow me on Twitter. You can always reach out to me there if you have any questions. Hit me up in Telegram and Cyber Samurai. Oh yeah, that's another thing. We're primarily on Telegram, not Discord. So hit me up there. But yeah, guys, I want to thank you all for checking out the stream, and I'll catch you on the next one whenever that is. I guess whenever I have enough information to ramble about something else.